Hello, I am, or I was, an engine on the now non-functioning Mid Sodor Railway. I was a tank engine and was painted olive green. My name is Smudger. Here's my story. When I used to be a tank engine, I was brought to the Mid Sodor Railway. There were around 10 engines besides myself. The others were Duke, Bertram, John, Tim, Gerry, Jim, Albert, Jennings, Atlas, and the mine engine. I was given a warm welcome. However, during my short-lived time on the railway, I can tell that something was wrong with me, as I had overly came off the rails whenever I had freight trains. One time I was moving along a train of coal cars, and then, like always, I came off the rails. Duke had came along, and I referred to him as Dookie. "Listen, Dookie, who worries about a few spills?" I had said. "We do here," he had said. But I ended up laughing about it. There had been even more occurrences where I came off the rails, and when I had pulled passenger trains, the passengers had gotten mad that they were repeatedly screaming at me and wished that not only the railway had some better engines, but also that I was withdrawn from service. I too wished all my problems would go away somehow. But I did not see how that could happen. Duke and the other engines all gave disappointed looks toward me. "You need to start taking caution with yourself. We can't afford people boycotting this railway over your mishaps." But I had gotten frustrated with myself and angry at them. Eventually, the manager of the railway now had made a decision on how I can be useful at last. I had remained confused about that statement. A time later, I had experienced what they meant by all that. They had turned me into a generator. Now, all I can do was watch the other engines go by me. Time had passed, and some of the engines had gotten purchased by other railways, and the amount of engines began to decrease, with now only Duke and Bertram remaining. That is, until 2 more engines came. They are another green engine and another blue engine. They are named Stuart and Falcon. They had been on the railway for some time, and they had started referring to Duke as Grandpa. I had overheard them teasing him that Duke reminded them about what happened to me. I had seethed with anger after hearing that. Eventually, hard times had arrived and the railway was going to be shut down. Stuart and Falcon were purchased, but no one purchased Duke because they thought he was too old. No one decided to purchase me either. Duke was put inside his shed, and then the area began to change around me. The entire railway was overgrown with vegetation, and there was a complete absence of any tracks. I had sat there for a long time with no one around and no one to talk to. That was until one night a small group of people were out doing an exploration of the area. I had saw them but didn't say a word to them. They were taking a look at the old station and the sheds where Stuart and Falcon had once been. One of them walked a bit further and disappeared. However, it wasn't for too long as I heard a distant scream coming from further away. The explorer came running back with a bleeding cut on his forehead. I was confused as to why that is, cause no one has been here in a long time. My question was answered as a group of men wearing black clothing, metal claw-like gloves, ski masks, and eyes similar to vampires had came out and came face to face with the group of explorers. One of them, who was clearly the leader, had long brown hair and was holding a machete in his left hand. "You all should not have set foot on this land." I could now see that the explorers were scared. "This land belongs to us, and you are all trespassers. Well, time for us to bring you all to your next destination." I now can see that those men sent shivers down the spines of those explorers. They started attacking them in a violent way. They were using their claw gloves and machete to pick them off. I couldn't help them, but as the last one was about to be killed, I shouted, "Stop!" I called out. The group of men turned and noticed me. "It seems we have another unwelcome appearance. A train appearing like a generator. You guys, dispose of him at once." I was now shaking in fear as some of those men pulled out flamethrowers and a circular saw. The lead man killed that last explorer. I turned my attention back on the men coming towards me. They turned on their flamethrowers, and then came my fate. Here I am now. I am now a ghostly specter on this railway. However, I was able to know of some things without anyone knowing I was there. During a full season night, a red engine and a grey diesel were salvaging things from the railway with a group of workmen. Footsteps were heard and two of the workmen were sent to investigate, but I knew it was clearly that group of men that killed me. I heard the distant scream, and one of the workmen ran back to the group, and I noticed a bloody gash on his face. "We need to get out of here right now. It's not safe here." Eventually, the lead man was seen again, and he was announcing to the group, "Time for you to end up like that train-looking generator in the shed." I knew that he was referring to me upon hearing that statement. The other men came out and pulled out their flamethrowers and circular saw once again. The red engine and the workmen left the railway at a fast pace, leaving the diesel behind. The group of men cornered him. "Your time is up, diesel engine!" I had watched them burn that diesel alive. It took time, and that diesel was now lifeless. They used their circular saw to dismantle him like they clearly did to me after they burned me alive. They took a few trips carrying that Diesel's dismantled and incinerated remains between his wheels, coupling rods, his radiator, and his other parts, including his number 9 plate and his nameplate. I am completely sorry for what happened to him. I had now hoped that those deranged men would get their payback, and the deaths of that group of explorers, myself, that workman, and that Diesel would one day be avenged.